Hello, and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today, I have been so worried and afraid to share. And I don't know why, but it's like, I realized that, I guess it's that recovering people pleaser of me. But at the same time, I don't feel like being hated. And then I realized, like, if I share this and people don't listen anymore, or, they just don't want to follow me anymore, I'm okay with that because this is part of my life and it's part of my journey and part of being a parent. And so, yeah, I'm going to share something that you might have picked up on some of my podcasts, but I didn't come out flat out and share it. In June 2022, we finally told the world, including our family members, friends, my oldest child's class and school, that they are gender fluid. So really basically what it means, if you're not aware, is that sometimes they feel like a girl and sometimes they feel like a boy. And that's it. And we were it was kind of percolating, kind of like going on behind the surface, it was kind of going on behind the curtains per se, or at home and with the teachers at school, of kind of like what we're like helping my child explore what they were feeling. So it took about a year or so. And I remember first when they told me that like they felt like a boy. They were born female, and I felt crushed, honestly. I was like, what? Because my world that I thought was completely different. And it's like, I obviously didn't have my what moments in front of them. I had my what moments on my own because I'm like, I need to fully support my child. And there's just so much hate out there about all this stuff. And I see it all the time. I live in Canada, and there's some serious stuff going on with the school districts and different stuff all across Canada. So that's one of the reasons I was afraid to share it. But at the same time, I feel the need to share it because I'm living it. So I feel like I'm not sharing all of me, my world with you, and I'm being a little closed off. And at the same time, it hopefully will land with people that need to hear it. And I have to be okay with wherever it lands. And I've just been so grateful that where we live has been very, very supportive, including the school district. So I've been very, very grateful about all the support because I needed it so I could support my child. But thank goodness I knew who I was through this process. I had to lean in on like who I am and like really lead with love. When I had hard moments of this transition, I had to let go of my expectations of what was and allow what is, and just lead with so much love to help my child through it. And this can go for anything in life, right? We can put our own stuff on our children, but they don't need our stuff. They'll have their own stuff to carry around. So it's finding like letting your stuff sit over, somewhere else for a while so you can really support your child through whatever they might be going through. Because I know growing up for us, there was a lot of bullying. Bullying wasn't talked about as much as it is today. It wasn't dealt with how it is today. Such a different world. But at the same time now they have different things that they're experiencing. There's online aspects of learning, right? Like once you put it out there, it's out there kind of thing. And so many more people can see what you say. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. But I'm sharing this today because, like I said, you might have noticed on my podcast when I talk about my oldest child, I say oldest child instead of daughter. And I say siblings. I say them or they. And it's not because punctuation parts or like talking about things. It's because that's what they prefer. And now that we're over a year of them really owning being gender fluid, and even like right when they did that, I got to witness the weight of the world come off their shoulders. Because before they didn't know what they wanted. They were wearing toques all the time. They were hiding their bodies with baggy clothes. They just didn't know what to say about themselves. They didn't know where they stood in this world. The moment that I said, you know what? You don't have to identify as a female or a male. You can just kind of fluctuate wherever you land. When I gave them that space to be who they are without societal ideas of things, something beautiful happened. Now, a lot of the time they actually, lately, at least right now, are more feminine. They're in the more feminine energy. And we do talk about things like we don't usually use boy or girl anymore. And we use like female or male because of society. Society still has like things going on. So it's a little different. And then they know they have like female parts, right? So it's just being open and honest and allowing them to be. And honestly, as a mom, that's all I want for my kids is them to be themselves, especially since, that is what I do. It's like I'm an empowerment coach. I embrace people to be who they are. So it was a fun learning experience for myself to have to walk through this process with my child in a different way that I never saw coming. It was like a curveball I never saw because when they were little, they were super girly, super, super girly. Love Frozen, love pink and purples. And like I said, when I gave them the space to not have to be in either one box, magical happened. And like I said, they've been more associating with feminine energy lately. So that's kind of fun. So it's just kind of fun to it's just in a fun, you just never know. Isn't parenting fun? So anyway, I am sharing this with you today because that's what I experienced over a year ago. And actually, it's been 2 years of kind of the roller coasters and things. I still slip up and say her sometimes because it's in your brain. Thankfully, they're very loving and understanding when we slip up. And that's all we ask of them is like, give us some time. I do my best. For the most part, I am pretty good about it, but I do slip up. And I do say like I'm human. I slip up in front of them all the time. Like not for like them and they and all that fun stuff, but just in general. I forget the other day. I think it was yesterday. I said something. Oh, I did math wrong. And I'm like, okay, guys. So I get something wrong sometimes. Like it's okay. I'm human. And I think it's so incredible that we can let our kids know that we are human, that we're not super people that can get everything done all the time. They blink and like magic happens. Like that's not how I want our children to know like how the world lives. Cause like there's a lot that goes behind those scenes that they don't see. Like at one point, I think it was a couple of years ago, my son answered when he was in kindergarten that he thought that I just sat and watched TV all day. And I got to chuckle. And then I'm like, so just so you know, that's not what happens. I know when he was home before kindergarten, that's what we do sometimes in our day. We'd sit and watch some TV, but that is not my day anymore. Anyways, it was really fun when we can see what our kids see, or they let us in and share with how they see things, because what they see might be different than what we're experiencing or seeing. So it's just really beautiful. So like I said before, when I was experiencing all this, and it's not even just this moment in my parenting journey, it's in lots of parts of my parenting journey, but in this one, I really had to dig deep into my love well, like my well of love. And what is really important here is that self-care and your own personal self-love, like practice and really, taking time for you is really important when we're dealing with moments that might set it, like literally throw us sideways. I know I had tears because like I said, I had to let go of what I thought. It was so funny. Now I look back, I'm like, what was I doing? But it was emotional. It was emotional. I went from, I have a daughter to I don't know what's going on, because it was really unknown at that time. And actually it started out with them like, I'm a boy. And then, we explored further together, and, luckily the school really was supportive too. And we just, we all worked together to figure out what was happening and what kind of support they needed and where they're sad and what their feelings were and all that. However, that is a lot harder to do when you don't know your own feelings, when you don't know who you are. So I was always very grateful to have a solid foundation of myself. And now, does that mean that I didn't cry? No, I just said I did, right? It meant that I could realize like I was letting go of my expectations, what was, right? It's kind of like it was almost like a grieving process, right? I had to grieve what was, what I thought, and then move on. And like I said before, I was saying before, and I kind of got off track, was I look back now going, oh my goodness, like I was so emotional. But it was a challenging time because we didn't know what was going on. And it was new and different and scary at times. But my main focus always was to be in a loving place to support my child. And that means the world to me, that I can do that. So if you feel like you need a little bit more love, start looking from within. I see so much hate out there, and I don't even want to focus on that right now. It just breaks my heart, to the point where I didn't even want to share this. I didn't want to share this with the world. But like I said, it's a part of my journey. It's part of who I am, part of my life. So I'm sharing it. And again, where it lands, it lands. The thing is, it's leading with love. When we focus on love, there's no room for hate. So I'm doing this podcast from the bottom of my heart. Like I'm just diving deep into my heart and expressing how I went through this. And it wasn't even my journey. I was kind of along for the ride. But I've talked to my child, and, I'm able to share this with you because they've allowed us to share. They want, family, friends, people to know who they are. And that is what I love of myself as a coach, is helping people embrace who they are. So I got to help my oldest embrace who they are in a very beautiful, beautiful way that I never saw coming. So life can throw us curveballs and really help us grow. Like I really grew as a mom and as a person through this experience. And I get to see things from a different lens. I've always been very open and chill about things. Like I'm not hard set on anything. I like to be flexible and open-minded. I think it's very important in life. And I really had to be throughout these past couple years. Anyways, so that is what I needed to get off my chest. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this, that might be a parent that is going through it right now, or, you just feel like somebody needs to hear this, share away. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. I am incredibly grateful for you for being here and listening all the way to the end too. It can be a harder topic, and I appreciate you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.